Hi, this is Vicki. Today we're going to be making altered playing cards. Here are some samples of completed cards using the same materials that we're going to use today. The backing is tea-dyed paper, standard copy paper that's been tea-dyed. We have some other requirements. You need some pack of playing cards or some playing cards. You don't need a whole pack. These are standard sized poker cards. There's a deck of cards here. You can get these for about $1 at the dollar store. We need some snips of book page. These are just ripped off bits of book page. You'll need some glue. I'm using a glue stick today. This is the kind I use. You're going to need vellum. I make my vellum in a very special way. It's commercial vellum, medium weight, and I put 2 of them together, but I wanted you to see what the paper looks like. Here's the printed paper, and there's the printed vellum. You can see that the vellum is not only transparent or translucent, but it's much paler. The same thing happens with the second piece. It's very bright on the original. The vellum one is much paler. I like to join 2 pieces of vellum to make it look vintage. So I have taken one of each design and printed them in turn on the same piece of vellum. First I print one page, then I take the same piece of vellum, put it back, and print the second page right on top of it. It gives me this really lovely piece of vellum that looks very antique. You can see when it's together. And the cards will still look, you can still see them through there if I don't knock down the glue. So we'll put that part aside. You will also need a piece of backing paper. Once again, this is tea-dyed plain copy paper. The first thing we're going to do is make the background on the cards. We're going to use our paper, and I need a book to glue book it down. Here's protect my surface. Okay, so we take a piece of paper, we take the glue stick and put some glue on the card. I like to line it up or put it towards the edges and not the center. I find I get much better look, and finished product is much better. And I'm still dropping. Okay, I fumble fingers today, I guess. That's going to have to dry for about 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, let's do the same thing again. Glue. You can be a little haphazard with your glue, it doesn't matter. Stick down your book page. Second piece of book page. Put as many as you like, as few as you like. What I do is tear off the part that's unused on that page, and that card will have plenty, and the next card will have the leftovers. Use every scrap, right? My glue is still trying to fall over. So I noticed that I have done 3 black cards in a row, and I want a variety when I'm doing my cards. So let's go in the file on the deck and see if we can pull out some different looking ones. Let's pull out a couple of diamonds, maybe a couple of clubs. And finally, a couple of hearts. Let's put in a face card too with the Jack. And put the Joker with it. So now I'm going to continue, and you'll be able to see the difference in the red card and the black when we're finished. But I'm going to speed this up because gluing is not thrilling to watch. Although very little actually shows of the printing that's behind when it's completed, you do want to make sure you don't have anything that's obnoxious in there. So I've got one set completed. Well, I've done one set and let them dry for a while. The second set is drying. So now what I'm doing is I'm tearing off the excess book page. I only want bits and pieces with organic looking edges on the book page left. Sometimes a lot comes off, sometimes not very much at all. If you decide that's not enough, you can always glue another piece of paper down and start that process again. I've already completed some of the ones to the left. I've already done the next step, which is to add Distress Oxide. We ink each of the cards on the area where we have book page. Just ink over the book page. If you happen to find anything left over or spare, like I have a little bit hanging out here, tear it off. Once again, I'm going to speed this up so that you don't have to watch me inking all of the pages. Now I've taken the vellum. I've put it face down on my work surface. I'm putting the cards and gluing them down using Fabri-tac glue, which I think works really well with the shiny card and the vellum, and placing 8 cards on the piece of vellum. Once again, I'm taking my big glue spreader and I am spreading and pushing to make sure that this is affixed very well. And we're done with the glue for the moment. This is going to have to dry for a while. Fabri-tac takes a few minutes to dry, and this needs to dry pretty thoroughly. So I'm going to leave it spread out here, face down on the table because the glue is on the top. And we'll let that sit here for a while. I'll be back when it's dry. Okay, it's dry now, and it's nicely adhered. So what we're going to do is the next step. We're going to apply the backing. The tea-dyed paper is going to be the backing. Something stuck. I need a baby wipe here, a dry baby wipe to clean that blob off the end of my dispenser. Okay. You want to make sure you get close to the edge. You don't have to go directly on the edge, but you want to be able to get near the edge enough so that the glue spreader will spread all of that out and around. You want to make sure you use your glue spreader, credit card, whatever you're using to spread the glue out. You want to make sure you do a really nice job of pressing all of that in. The cards are very slippery. They have a plasticky coating, and the paper will slide if you're not careful, and it will not adhere properly unless you get the glue spread out well. So I go through several steps and several passes to make sure that the glue is completely spread down. Now we have our finished piece, and you can see where the duplicate printing of that one vellum gives it a very nice aged look. We're going to cut. On this, you can see the edges of the cards. On some darker one, there's a little blop here that I need to trim off closer. On some, you'll find that the vellum overlay is darker, or it obscures the edges, and you can't see where the edges of the cards are. In that case, do this as a two-piece go. First, do the vellum, as we've done, glue the cards to the vellum, but then cut them out, trim the edges, and then place them individually on your backing paper so that you can cut the backing paper evenly as well. So once again, I find watching people cut things fairly boring, so I'm going to speed this up and go to the finish when I've cut all of them, and then we'll go to the next step. So we're going to start by rounding the corners with a corner cropper. Then we're going to take the sanding block and lightly go around each of the sides just to make sure there's nothing hanging out. No little tiny shreds of paper, anything like that. That's really straightforward. And now, for all practical purposes, the first group is done. The second group is not quite dry, but I will finish them up separately. And then I'll come back and show you the end when all 16 cards are done. So I'm back, and here are the cards that we've made today. This is a perfect way to mass make a lot of playing cards. Altering playing cards can be done individually. You can do one at a time. You can do 5 at a time. I like to do a lot of them because even though they vary very similar, they're not alike and they all look different. And besides that, I often give them away in Happy Meal or in rack packages. And even when I'm not, if I put them in separate journals, no one will know. I've enjoyed making this video for you. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll come back and see some others. Bye.